If you're looking to buy a camping cooker for your next bike trip or outdoor trip, but you don't know which one you're gonna buy yet, then this is the right video for you. After a long day in the saddle and maybe a cold night ahead, it's always great to have a big warm meal to end the day with. There's a big variety of cooking setups and all of their advantages and disadvantages. Classic gas cooker stoves, spiritus or alcohol cookers, and fuel cookers. So for this video I'll show our own different cooking setups, and I also asked some fellow bike travelers on Instagram about their cooking setups to show variety and so that you can make a choice for the one that suits you best. What is super cool, Dennis and Annika, who we met in Baku in Azerbaijan last spring and who are currently in Nicaragua in South America with their bikes, even made a video about their setup and their travel kitchen, and you can hear some exotic birds chirping in the background of the video. In the end of the video I'll have a little table as overview over all advantages and disadvantages of the setups and all the infos on our website as well. Yeah, hope the video is helpful. Let's start with the classic setup, the gas cooker. This one is probably the most common, as it is also arguably the easiest to use. It's just a little cooker that is attached to a gas cartridge. You can turn up the gas and light it, and that's it. Gas cookers are always very efficient, not expensive. You can get good little ones from 30 euros onwards. I've got a Primus Minor Duo stove for 38 euros. That is basically the simplest one from Primus. It's definitely good for cooking. To be honest though, it's a bit bulky to pack, which is why I don't like it so much. And actually, several people that I asked about their setup said that they have the MSR Pocket Rocket, which starts at about 35 euros and is much smaller to pack. Due to the smaller fire outlet on the MSR, it might take a bit longer to heat than the Primus, but for me, small size is a more important criteria here, so I might get that one soon. Now, both of these cookers are pretty simple. You just screw on the cooker onto the gas cartridge, but there are also standalone cookers that connect through a gas line from the cooker to the gas cartridge. Those are much more stable on the ground as they're not that high up on top of the gas cartridge, but they're also more expensive, the Primus Express Biter, for example, being 70 euro. So the advantages of gas cookers are they're definitely the easiest to use. They don't get your hands dirty. You can't really do anything wrong. They're quite cheap, efficient, and cook pretty fast. The main disadvantage of gas cookers is that you might not find the exact gas cartridge that your cooker needs everywhere in the world. For example, when you travel to, let's say, some exotic place, then chances are that you don't find that cartridge in that country, and then you won't be able to cook. So you can definitely check that before on the internet, maybe on some blogs, or bring enough extra gas cartridges, or yeah, just buy food on the roadside. And another disadvantage is that the stove plus the cartridge plus maybe an extra cartridge, take up space. Next up is the alcohol burner or spirit burner. This one accompanied Finn and me on our 3-month adventure from Berlin to Azerbaijan last year. So there's lots of advantages, and some little disadvantages about this one. So for alcohol burners, you basically only pour the burning liquid into it, spirit or alcohol, and set it on fire. By the way, it's the gases that the liquids emit that are burning, not the liquid itself. It is by far the cheapest of all setups. We had the S-Bit alcohol burner for 15 euros, and there are even cheaper off-brand ones. It's also super light and super small to store, which is another huge advantage on big trips. You'll only need some kind of pot stand, as you can't put the pot on the burner itself, so we had a pot stand from S-Bit as well, which is super light and small. So it's really a great choice if you want to travel as light as possible and don't want to spend much money. One disadvantage is that water takes longer to boil when comparing it to a gas cooker. And what we only found out on the trip, it's really hard to find spiritus or spirit or pure alcohol in many countries. So for example in Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, we looked in supermarkets, gas stations, hardware stores, pharmacies, and the only thing we could find was those barbecue lighting liquids or solid fuel pads that you use to light a fire or petroleum. They did burn of course, but when using those they produced a lot of soot or smut and German Ruß. So it was a big task to always clean them in the mornings and especially try to not get all our stuff inside the tent dirty. So be aware of that. But with pure spiritus or alcohol, they burn completely clean. And last but not least, the fuel cooker or fuel burner. So these are really the high-end ones amongst camping cookers. Personally, I've never owned one, but I've been with people who used it. So you can basically use any liquid like gasoline, petroleum, diesel, kerosene, even airplane fuel, you name it. Which is great when you're in other parts of the world, because you won't find gas cartridges everywhere, but you will find gasoline really anywhere in the world. So you don't have to worry about not being able to cook. And they are very powerful and will get your water hot faster than all other cookers. But that comes at a price, of course. They're the most expensive ones as well. The Primus OmniFuel, for example, costing 225 euros. And in addition, they do take up more space than the alcohol burner, but probably about the same amount as a gas cooker. Compared to the other cookers, there are a few more things you have to keep in mind when you're using it. You shouldn't make mistakes using it, because that could be explosive mistakes. But yeah, of course, after a few usages, there probably won't be any difficulties with that anymore. A little addition here that counts for all gas cookers: with lower temperature and high winds, it will be much harder to cook, or your stuff might not get cooked at all. So it is definitely advisable to have some kind of windshield that will make your life much easier. They're small and light, and you can get some for 10 euros or so that's little money for a lot of extra comfort. To sum up, gas cookers are the jack of all trades, super easy to use, not too expensive, pretty efficient. You only need to plan or inform yourself where or in which countries you will be able to get new gas cartridges. Alcohol burners are the cheapest and smallest and lightest ones, great for trips where you don't want to have much baggage. It does take a little longer to get stuff cooked. All fluids like pure alcohol, petroleum, barbecue lighting fluid or solid will get the job done, but everything other than pure alcohol will require more cleaning on your pot and stove. OmniFuel burners are the most versatile and powerful ones. You can use them anywhere around the world with any kind of gasoline or diesel, and they get your food cooked the fastest. They might be a bit bigger than gas cookers, they're a lot heavier, and they're by far the most expensive. But if you're on an around the world trip, this one is definitely worth thinking about. This all is of course just my opinion with a bit of experience, but I hope this might help you decide on the right cooker to take on your trip. If you've got any recommendations or questions what topic I should make a video about next, feel free to write that in the comments. The info is all on our website as usual. I hope this video was helpful and hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you next Sunday.
Wir haben natürlich unseren Kocher, Primus OmniFuel. Hier ist noch ein bisschen Windschutz und so weiter drin. Ja. Ansonsten haben wir Flasche und Kocher. Zum Kochen ein Topf. Den haben wir relativ neu, Fire Maple. Der ist echt richtig gut, hat Lamellen hier, Wasser wird richtig schnell warm. Unsere Tassen dazu sind Meru-Tassen. Haben wir vorher schon gehabt, glaube ich, hätten wir uns, wenn wir sie uns neu gekauft hätten, uns für was anderes entschieden, weil mit einem Metallhenkel ist das sehr unkomfortabel manchmal, weil der doch sehr schnell heiß wird. Dann haben wir noch einen großen Topf, wenn es mal viel zu essen geben soll nach einem harten Tag. Oh, hier passen 4-5 Liter rein. Das reicht gerade so für eine ordentliche Nudelportion. 2 Plastikteller noch dabei. Ja, hauptsächlich um Sachen drauf zu schneiden. Wenn man isst, dann gerne aus dem Topf. Besteck, zweimal das Dreier-Set, Messer, Gabel, Löffel. Tupperdosen, auch ganz wichtig, falls was übrig bleiben sollte oder man mal irgendwie was transportieren will, was irgendwie anfällig ist. Was weiß ich, Obst, Gemüse, damit das in der Tasche nicht kaputt geht und dafür Sauerei sorgt. Dann noch ein Keramikmesser. Ja, sind wir mit mehr losgefahren. Das ist jetzt das, was noch übrig geblieben ist. Ist am größten und am stabilsten. Die anderen sind schon gebrochen beim Transport in der Tasche. Holzlöffel zum Umrühren. Der Deckel zu dem großen Topf. Immer ein Stoffbeutel, damit man nicht immer einen hässlichen Plastikbeutel bekommt. Unser kleines Waschbecken von Cito Summit. Schwamm noch zum Abwaschen. Das ist unsere Küche. Mehr gibt's nicht.